I just made $600 in 7 minutes trading crypto. Here's how I did it step by step using this 1-minute scalping strategy so you can do the same thing any time of day. You don't have to wait for market opens. You don't have to wait for night. You don't have to wait for morning. Whatever time zone you're in, this strategy works no matter what. Let's get into it. Today, we are covering a quick 1-minute scalping strategy that's leading me to some of these profits. I'm going to tell you the 5 things I really look out for when I am trading, and these happen. I would say you can trade this setup any time of day. There's certain specific things we're looking for, right? But this doesn't have to be on market opens. This could be in the afternoons. This could be late at night. Whatever time zone you are playing, this can work for. So you'll see this trade we took this morning at 8:46 a.m. to 8:50 a.m. was about 7 minutes long. Okay, so I'm going to cover this trade quickly, and these are the exact setups I am taking every day that leads to these type of profits where you can get in and out of plays pretty quickly. And there are 5 things we are actually looking for when we're getting in a play and getting out and taking those profits. Okay, so step number 1 here, we're going to move to the daily time frame on TradingView. If you are a little confused about how to use TradingView, I do have a TradingView guide on my channel for you guys, so feel free to click the link up above or below to view that video. But here you can see we're going to mark the previous candle here. So this is the previous day high and low candle. Now, why are we marking this area? A lot of times you're going to see with price, it'll fluctuate, either come back to retest this white line and maybe bounce higher up, right? We're clearly getting in a nice solid uptrend here. Or we could come back through, maybe we completely resist it, touch it at the bottom again, and maybe come back to the middle or down to this previous day low. So you're going to see that throughout the day, depending on what levels you mark. So second step, we are actually going to move to the minute time frame. Now, what we're looking for on the minute time frame here is we are looking for a change of character. So this was actually taken this morning. I'm not sure when this video is coming out, but this was taking around 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning here. So you'll see here is actually our previous day high. Look how many times it retested that line perfectly, just hitting it, bouncing it. Even here, came up to the bottom, touched it, came back down, bottom, down, up. It's continuously retesting this line. These are why we mark these areas out, okay? Because we want to see price fluctuate around that area. So if we go back to the AM here, the next thing we are actually looking for, and I'm just going to do bar replay here. So this is the time frame I was looking at here, right? I usually hop on around 8:15, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, and I'm looking to do maybe 1 to 3 trades per session. I don't want to be over trading. I don't want to be trading all day long, which leads to over trading and usually a loss of money. If I get my 1 win in per session, I am good to go. That is plenty enough for me. Okay, I don't need to be giving my money back to the market. So I would say that's per session. Now, if I lost my first trade, I may try for a second trade to either break even or hopefully be in profit for that day if we are maintaining our risk reward ratios. Okay, but that's about as many trades as I'm willing to take per session, morning, afternoon, or night, whatever time I have blocked out for that hour, 2 hour long period. Okay, so now you'll see our previous day high here. It already kind of retested it once. But if we go ahead and play it forward here, the next step, we are looking for a change of character. If you don't know what a change of character is, it's very important in trading. It can signal a change in the direction of the trend, meaning instead of this general uptrend we have going, we could create a downtrend and a pullback here. So we had a general uptrend here, then we had a downtrend, then we had an uptrend, then we had a downtrend. And throughout all these time periods, because you're scalping on the 1 minute time frame, you can take longs, you can take shorts, you can take longs, you can take shorts. And this is all throughout one day, okay? So the next step, we are looking for that change of character. I do have a more in-depth video on changes of character down below or up above if you are interested in learning more about that. Or if you are confused about how to find those changes of character, there is Lux Algo's Smart Money Concepts. So I used to use this a lot in the beginning, but you can just type in Smart Money Concepts SMC by Lux Algo and it should pop up. So you'll notice here, On the 1 minute, we have a lot of change of character. We have a break of structure, which is BOS. So this kind of signals once you get a change of character, a break of structure, that we're going for longs here on the way up. Now, as soon as this trend starts to end, we are next looking for that change of character possibly to the downside, okay? If not, we could continue with our longs here, right? We will go ahead, play this forward now. You are seeing we are currently resisting this previous day high, right? So I'm thinking we may drop even further down to possibly this previous day low area. So here we have for sure gotten a change of character. Why? Because we came past this low here. We're making a bunch of lower lows. We got a downtrend going on now. So we could be signaling that change in direction, right? You'll see the change of character, this red dotted line here on smart money concepts. So if you look over, here's the change of character. All right, so we have our change of character on the 1 minute time frame. Third step, we're going to move to the 3 minute or 5 minute, okay? And we're actually going to look for a fair value gap. So all these boxes here, these red boxes here, are fair value gaps. And what this means is there's an imbalance in the price, right? So a lot of times price will come back to these boxes to fill that price gap where it moved too quickly downward or too quickly upward. And it's just 3 candlesticks in a row. So I do have a more in-depth video going on fair value gaps on the channel down below or up above. But if we were to create this fair value gap, let's say this bullish one here, you'll see we have this wick and we have this bottom wick, and that creates that bullish fair value gap. So you're just choosing 3 candlesticks, you'll see a gap in between them, and that's your fair value gap. Now, we're not looking at the 1 minute fair value gaps. Why? Because a lot of times they'll stop you out. They can be invalidated. It's just too short of a time frame. But we are going to move to the 3 minute or 5 minute, and we're going to look for fair value gaps there. So you'll see we have 2 already on the 3 minute time frame. We might even form a 5 minute fair value gap. Not quite yet, but this could be the candle, right? So you do need to wait for candle closes, but here's your 3 minute fair value gap, right? So next, 4th step here, we are drawing our Fibonacci. Because this is a short play, we are drawing our Fibonacci from the bottom of this to the top of this, and we are looking for entry at one of these fib levels. So unfortunately with this, our 0.618 probably lines up the best here. So our 0.618, we got this nice 3 minute fair value gap. It could just come up and hit this 0.786 level and then come back down to our take profit price. Here's the 0.618. So we'll play this forward and see how it goes. So you'll see it did only come up to our 0.786 level before coming down to our take profit levels here at 1.618, 1.272. Those are the take profit levels I'm usually looking at. Sure, could you look lower here? Yes, you certainly could. You could look to this 2 level or this 2.272 level, okay? So this could have been a whole play by itself, okay? So you would have been in and out of that trade had you entered at the 0.786, came all the way down to your 1.618, and you would have been in and out within before even really market open. So this would have been a before market open play. So that's from 824 to around 833, okay? So 10-minute play there. Let's look at another trade here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, play this forward a bit. Okay, so this was the trade I took. Okay, so like I said, I was looking at this previous day high. I'm like, I bet it's gonna come up and retest this previous day high. And what's funny about it is, on the 5-minute time frame, we actually have, I'll just select this bar to play it back here, but we have this 5-minute bearish fair value gap. So this is why you can look at the 3-minute or 5-minute bearish fair value gaps. If that's too complicated for you, just look at the 5-minute time frame to keep it simple, okay? So we formed this nice bearish 5-minute bearish fair value gap here. And we have our previous day high level lining up with that area. If we were looking at a short here, top to bottom, you'll see our 0.382 now. We're just moving our fib along, okay? You can do this throughout the day. We're dragging this from the swing low to the swing high because we're looking for the short position. So you'll see our 0.382, we have a couple of confluences going on. We have a previous day high, which could lead to resistance around that, along with a 5-minute bearish fair value gap. Not only that, this isn't necessarily a step, but I love looking at divergences. If you don't know what a divergence is, I do have a RSI video explaining those on my channel too, so I'll link that up above and down below. But you'll see here, we have a lot of bearish divergences going on we haven't quite hit yet. So look at all these. 5-minute bearish divergence, and we still continued upwards. So at some point, it needs to come back into these and hit these bearish divergences, signaling that short. So at some point, it needs to hit these bearish divergences. You'll see even this bullish one here. Had you seen a change of character on the 1 minute, guarantee this is a change of character here, right? We're coming past this high here, especially on the 1 minute. Creating this change of character, we created a higher low. We have a bull divergence. We have some bullish 5-minute fair value gaps. This is all signaling to me back here that we can be taking along. So look at this. This would have been a killer trade, right? You could have made a lot of money off this trade, hitting that 2.272 level, getting in 0.618 or wherever you get in at, and coming back up. But we're going to stick with the short play. That was the $600 play this morning. So came up to the 0.382 level, and we will go ahead, play it forward on the 1 minute. We hit our bearish fair value gap. We're wicking through the 0.382. And because we have bearish divergences here, we have our change of character on the 1 minute, and we have that bearish 5-minute fair value gap. I'm thinking we could come back down here. So we'll go ahead, play it forward. And we'll see exactly how far it goes down. So still moving. So I did get out around the 1.272 area. So that is probably the most that would have came down to. You can also look at some 15-minute fair value gaps for your take profit levels. A lot of times, whether you're playing short or long here, these fair value gaps will actually line up with these take profit levels. You'll see it whipped right through this 15-minute bullish fair value gap, which lined up in between our 1.272 and 1.618, but we for sure blew past this one here. So I'm just going to keep playing it forward, see kind of what we do throughout the day. Kind of sticking below this yellow line, this 200 EMA here. So you'll notice we stick right along that line with that previous day high, okay, before coming all the way back up. This is why we're looking to get out at the 1.272, 1.618 areas usually, especially if we're going against this general bullish run we would have going. This is probably just a pullback in the trend on a higher time frame. But these are the 4 steps I am looking at, which is 1, mark your previous day high and low candle out. 2, you're going to move to the 1 minute time frame, and you're going to look for that change of character at the top or bottom of the trend, depending if you're going long or going short. 3, you're going to look for either a 3-minute fair value gap or a 5-minute fair value gap. I would stick with one time frame if you are just learning to trade. So maybe you stick with the 5-minute time frame, hit that bearish fair value gap or bullish fair value gap, and then look for a fib line for entry that matches up with that fair value gap there. You'll see we had a lot of things lining up with that 0.382 area, like our previous day high, 5-minute bearish fair value gap, so on and so forth. So the more confluences you have, really, the better. Okay? And then you're looking to take profit at the 1.272 if you want to stay super safe. If you want to try to continue it down further, had you let this kind of run, you would have lost a lot of profits here, but taking profits at that 1.272, you can be in and out of this trade, 8:44, 10 minutes here, 10, 15 minutes. Okay, now where does our stop loss go? Forgot to mention stop loss. Our stop loss is always going to go above the fair value gap candle. So do not forget your stop loss. I used to have a big problem with stop losses and would let my trades run, and it killed a lot of accounts for me. So do not let your stop losses run. We had this bearish fair value gap here. It's no longer printed, right? Because we're moving along in the chart. But here was that bearish fair value gap and your stop loss. Your short position here, say we put our entry at that 0.382, your stop loss would be just above the wick of this candle, okay? Get a little bit breathing room, and then you're taking profit at that 1.272. So entering this perfectly, this would have been great. I think I entered at 0.618, but entering this perfectly, lining up with all those confluences, coming down to that 1.272, you're looking at that 6.82 risk reward. Meaning, if you put in $100 on this trade, you could make $682, okay? So if you lose the trade, hit your stop loss, you're losing $100. You win the trade, you're winning $682. Same thing. Let's say you're playing with littler amounts here. You're playing with $10. You lose the trade, you lose $10. You win the trade, you win $68. Okay? So that is all we are looking for. Once again, those kind of 4 or 5 steps there, and continue on with your day. You can play this any time of day. We're really just looking at these 3 or 5 minute fair value gaps. Like I said, probably choose a time frame you want to stick with. Look for the change of character on the 1 minute. That's going to be a big indication that we could be changing directions. And then even better, if you see a RSI divergence on these higher time frames going along with your short theory, getting those bearish fair value gaps, probably look to take that short there. So if you guys are looking to look more into futures trading or perps trading for cryptocurrency, I do have a full technical analysis course. These are all the things I kind of wish would have been in my courses when I was first starting out trading. I had no idea about changes of character, breaks of structure, order blocks, market structure, price action. I feel like a lot of courses, they just give you kind of one strategy and throw you to the winds, which is fine. But these are all the things I would have liked to learn. It shows you how to set up your account using MEXC, Blofin, Phemex, whatever you prefer. So MEXC right now actually has 0 fees going on for a lot of coins. And you'll see these promotions a lot, like, I don't know, every 1, 2, 3 months, it seems like they've been doing this, where you can mark it into orders and they'll give you zero fees, which is insane. So if you're risking like $500, you mark it in on an order, that's an automatic like $20 you're losing just on fees. Okay, that's if you mark it in, right? So these are 0 fees, but I do go over leverage trading, how you should position yourself for leverage trading. A lot of times on these plays, I'm using 50 to 100x, risk reward, win rates. We got candlestick patterns, chart patterns, order blocks, Elliott wave theory. Very important to know how far a trend is going along before it ends, right? And then our perpetual future trading strategies. So whatever you kind of want to pick and choose there. But this will all help you if you are restricted in certain countries from using these platforms. I do go over setting up your account with the VPN as well. So this is all here to help you out if you are interested. If not, that is cool too. Please let me know and drop your questions below and I will be sure to answer them. Thanks.